SafetyNet is a web-based system, designed for recording hazard and incident reports, safe work procedures, and risk assessments. SafetyNet can be accessed a number of different ways. The main way users can access SafetyNet is via the link from the UOW Safe at Work webpage. It also can be accessed via the Staff intranet page. Another way of accessing SafetyNet is via a hyperlink contained within an email notification or a corrective actions reminder, which are generated after a report has been completed, when you click on the link to SafetyNet. The login screen will appear. You need to enter your UOW username and password. The navigation bar allows the user to move freely from screen to screen. To navigate, click the icons on the navigation bar. The work list displays documents requiring action by the user. The work list screen also contains a teamwork list for supervisors, to view open items by team members. The incident hazard form allows a user to record incidents, hazards and near misses. The risk assessment form records a risk assessment including the hazards, the risk and the controls required to make it safe. The safe work procedure records the job steps of the activity and any hazards and controls to ensure the task is performed in a safe way. The search screen provides the ability to locate any document contained in SafetyNet. If you are a staff member and you are reporting a hazard or incident, the form will automatically populate fields for the date entered, your name, email, and job title. If you are a student, contractor or visitor, you will need to enter these details. In the incident related to field, you need to enter the faculty or division, and the department or unit that the hazard is related to. In the report will be sent to field. You need to ensure that the report will be sent to your primary supervisor. If the automatically populated supervisor is incorrect, you can change the supervisor by clicking Change Supervisor. You can also add additional supervisors by clicking the Add link. Additional supervisors will receive a copy of the report, but will not be able to modify the report. If you want your report to be confidential, and not sent to your supervisor, you need to ensure you tick the confidential checkbox next to the Entered by field at the beginning of the report. If you are reporting a hazard, you will need to select Hazard. Then another window will open, where you need to enter the hazard classification and category. You then need to enter a short description of the hazard. You can also attach additional information and pictures if needed. If you are reporting an incident, you need to select Incident. Then a screen will appear where you need to select if it was with or without an injury. You then need to select the appropriate incident classification. As with a hazard report, you then need to enter a short description of the incident. And you can also attach additional information and pictures if needed. Record the specific details in relation to the incident hazard, including the date of the incident hazard, the time of the incident hazard, the date the incident/hazard was first reported to the supervisor. If applicable, the name of the person the hazard was reported to, prior to completion of this hazard report. You also need to complete the details of the location of the incident hazard, including the building, room number, and specific location. Once all details are completed on this page, you can then click Next to continue. If you are entering an incident with an injury, you will need to complete the injury details section, that includes the name of the injured person, their email address and job title. You then need to complete any details of treatment received. Complete the injury details including the nature of the injury, the body location of the injury mechanism, and the injury agency. Then, complete a short description of the injury. Other details you need to enter in the injury details section are the task that was being performed at the time of the injury, a description of any treatment provided for the injury, including first aid treatment, the name of the UOW first aider, if you were given any first aid treatment, and the name of the treating doctor, if you received medical treatment. After all these details are completed, then click Next. Entering corrective actions. When trying to determine corrective actions to prevent reoccurrence, it is helpful to analyze the causes that led to the incident occurring. From the options presented, select the factors which best describe the underlying cause of the incident hazard and enter a description. At least one factor must be selected. In the next section, enter the known cause of the hazard incident occurring. For example, trip down the stairs due to raised carpet tile. In the risk assessment section, you need to determine the consequence and the likelihood of the hazard incident. The university has a risk matrix which must be used when performing a risk assessment. In order to assess the risk, you need to follow these steps. Step 1. Consider the consequences. How severely could someone be injured? Step 2. Consider the likelihood of the consequences occurring. Step 3. Calculate the risk, which corresponds with the risk likelihood and risk consequence. To add corrective actions, click on the Add Corrective Action button. You must always aim to eliminate a hazard, which is the most effective control. If this is not reasonably practicable, you need to minimize the risk by working through the other alternatives in the hierarchy. Level 2 risk controls are: substitute the hazard with something safer. For instance, replace solvent-based paints with water-based ones. Isolate the hazard from people. This involves physically separating the source of harm from people by distance or using barriers. For instance, having noisy equipment away from workers. Change the workplace, equipment or work process, engineering controls, for instance, place guards around moving parts of machinery. Level 3 control measures provide the least level of protection against risk as they rely on human behavior and supervision. The Level 3 control measures are: use administrative controls, for instance, develop procedures on how to operate machinery safely, use personal protective equipment, PPE. If the hazard in the incident being reported can be eliminated, select the Yes radio button and proceed to complete the corrective action description field. If not, select one or more controls from the control type drop-down list and proceed to complete the corrective action description field. The control type field allows for the recording of corrective actions following the hierarchy of controls. Each type of control must be considered in turn, commencing with elimination. If a control is not reasonably practical, then the next one should be considered, and so on. For example, if a hazard cannot be eliminated, then the user should assess if it can be substituted, and so on. Enter a description of the corrective action taken. For example, use an alternate chemical that is less hazardous. In the Person Responsible field, click the search icon to locate the name of the person assigned to undertake the corrective action. The search icon opens the Employee Details window is opened, allowing the user to search the OR personnel listing by name. This search is similar to Person Search, however only authorized supervisors and academic staff are contained in the list. To add more corrective actions, click Add Corrective Actions. Once you have finished adding corrective actions, click Next. You need to click Submit once you have completed all details in the form. Once you have submitted the form, a notification will appear, with the reference number of the report. You can print a copy by clicking on the View Print link. A copy will be sent to the nominated supervisor for review, and any corrective actions will be sent to the responsible persons nominated.